Welcome along, everybody. This is the 1UP Superstar Series for 2021, race 9 of 36, and we are out at the beautiful Armory Digital Superspeedway in Seattle, Washington, our second Superspeedway race of the season, and it's going to be a fun one here on the TRN. Alongside me this time in the booth is Ben McDonald, and for this race, it's going to be a crapshoot, honestly. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. One thing this season has produced, a lot of repeat winners. We've yet to see a first-time winner in 2021. What do you think the odds are that ends here this weekend and we get our first-time winner of the season?
Well, we got over 40 cars and a lot of great drivers in this field. Everybody has a chance to win this race. It's a super speedway. Everybody can be fast. Some of them made it in by qualifying in for the go or go homers. And a lot of people have a lot of speed. We'll just have to see how it goes during the race.
And looking at the starting lineup, Zachary Fitzwater takes his first career pole position, getting the firsts off on a good start with his rival Lane Sanders to his outside. They fill row 1, with rookie Nelson Reeves also looking for his first win in P3. Looking back for the rest of the starting grid, we also see guys like Ricky Freeman Jr., Andres Molina, Kyle Vaughters, and William Brock in the top 10. They've all yet to score a victory, and they'd all love to do it here at this famous 2.6 mile super speedway. Anybody else you're keeping an eye on further back in the field than that?
It's basically anybody's game. I like to see Jeff Bolton in the 38. He's pretty fast. Got a lot of good drivers. Stephen Hunter starting last, so hopefully he can get back up to the top of the field. Christian Vargas in 17th. Brie Blair, who did really good in the season opener, hopefully can find redemption for that. And a lot of good faces, a lot of good drivers. Let's just see how it goes.
And with that being said, as we always like to say, the cars are lined up on the grid, and we are always ready to bring you the action from Armory Digital Super Speedway. This is round 9 of the 2021 season, and it's coming at you next, live here on the TRN. The pace car already on pit road. It leaves us in the hands of Zachary Fitzwater on pole for the first time, alongside his main rival, Lane Sanders in the 41. They fill out the front row. Nelson Reeves, Daniel Bouchard, and Ricky Freeman Jr. round out the top 5. We head for the tri-oval into the restart zone. The green flag is out, and the 1UP Superstar Series from Armory Digital is underway. We're already, before they even get to the start-finish line, we're 3 wide. That's just a precursor of what's going to happen in this race, because 3 and 4 wide is going to be the norm here at this high-speed superspeedway.
Yeah, that's very interesting. They're already being very aggressive so far. That 71 so close to the guy on the outside. But he's going to drop low and hopefully stay in line here and doesn't lose too many positions.
Here comes Nelson Reeves on the inside of Fitzwater. This is for the lead down the back straightaway. It takes about a full lap or maybe even a lap and a half to get these cars up to full speed. And right now it appears that Reeves is going to have the advantage in lane, but Fitzwater might have a little more help on the high side with Ricky Freeman Jr. But now Freeman moves down to push Reeves in the 17. That's going to allow Vaughters to get underneath him. They're 3 and 4 wide for second on back. Nelson Reeves is going to lead lap number 1 here at Armory Digital. This is going to be a hotly contested race, I imagine, and this is just the first of many lead changes I expect in today's race.
Yeah, a lot of aggressive driving. A lot of people are going to be changing places. It's going to be a moving racetrack. Got to know where the momentum is and got to know where the run's coming from.
So Kevin Carter makes a move on the inside of Reeves. That is for first position, with William Brock and Jared Polanski pushing him along. The Toyota is already proving to be a strong force here in this race. They've got 3 of the top 5 right now, with Carter, Reeves, and Vaughters in the top 5 as they barrel it off into turn 3. There's 4 wide deeper in the pack, but right now it's side by side with Carter and Reeves off of 4. Heading into the tri-oval off of turn 4, Kevin Carter out to the lead, and he will lead lap number 2. Will we have 2 leaders in as many laps? Yes, we will. Kevin Carter takes the stripe, and he will lead lap number 2. But there's still a 3 and 4 wide beehive behind him, and any one of these cars could find themselves in victory lane at race's end.
Jared Polanski on the bottom, another Toyota making his strong suit with another Toyota behind him.
That's Duke Ansack in the 83 pushing Jared Polanski along in the draft. Remember, Carter owns that 83 car, so he won't be too keen on him pushing Polanski out past him. But right now, it looks like Anzac's going to make a move to the inside. 3 wide for the lead, with Michael McCuskey pushing Anzac along. William Brock pushing Polanski, and Nelson Reeves pushing Kevin Carter. But it's Duke Anzac out front now for our third lead change in as many laps. Our third leader, Duke Anzac, comes across the line with a challenge from Michael McCuskey. Anzac will lead the lap, but Michael McCuskey, in just his 7th career start, is making a move for the lead here.
Yeah, the 10 and the 19 teammates on the bottom had really strong showings so far this season, especially at the Superspeedway races.
But Michael McCuskey right now out in the lead of this race. The first time he has led in his one-up Superstar career, and he's enjoying a comfortable margin. Well, as comfortable a margin as you're going to get on these Superspeedways, ahead of Justin Hutchinson. Blair in the 19 right behind him. They're 4 wide for, I believe that's 5th position back there behind. Kyle Vaughters manages to hold them off for the time being. And Blair makes a move to the inside of McCuskey, who will hold the lead coming off of 4. We'll have our 4th different leader in as many laps, but the question is, will it be Michael McCuskey or will it be Blair in the 19 off of 4? It looks like McCuskey will hold her off, and Michael McCuskey's just led the first lap of his one-up Superstar career.
That's always a fun thing to do, especially for a young guy. Definitely has a bright future in this series, as we see many more faces come into the sport every single year.
But now it's Blair in the 19 out front trying to prove her Superspeedway work, being pushed by that 12 car, who's had some woes to start the season, but he ran up front in the Superspeedway races before, and now making move for the lead with help from Christian Vargas in the 54, Halleck in the 84, Bobo Jones in the 86, are all working together on that inside line to push that 12 out to the race lead.
It's great to see Superspeedway racing because you can see all 4 manufacturers that work: Chevy, Toyota, Ford, and Dodge. Everybody has a chance of being up front, and everybody has a chance at the win.
All 4 manufacturers in that bottom lane. Chevy leading Toyota, leading Ford, and Dodge on that bottom groove. But now, as McCuskey drops back a little bit, Arthur Xavier in the 99 makes a move. On the inside, he will take the spot away from Jake McMillan in the 21. All 3 of the Venta Motorsports entries now in the top 10. That's always a good sight to see because they've been on a bit of a downward spiral these past few races, but it's good to see them all running up front at the moment. But right now, this 12 car's got a nice lead. Will he be the first driver today to lead consecutive laps? If Halleck and Vargas have anything to say about it, he won't. But as they come for the trial to complete lap 6, this 12 car's got pretty good control over the field.
Yeah, surprising to see that the 12 car already has led 2 laps this season. Very poor showing so far this season, but hopefully they can rebound with as long as his teammates in the 21 and the 8.
And we've got more challengers to speak of up at the front. There's Jake McMillan in the 21, like you just said. There's Kyle Vaughters pushing along Halleck in the 84, and Ryan Soper in the 23. Remember, he finished 5th in the Pensacola 500, his only top 10 of the season so far. So he really needs to get a move on this season. He's had 2 consecutive DNFs, dropped him all the way back to 27th in the points. Any more like that, and he's at risk of falling out of the top 30 and having to race his way in every week.
Yeah, you got to have a good points finish every single week. Definitely don't want to be one of those guys on the go or go home list because it's not fun. Added more stress and add more acceleration and drive to hopefully make the show.
So right now the 12 still leads. He's led the last few laps now as they roar through turns 1 and 2. With, it looks like Halleck right behind him, McMillan trying to make a teammate alliance forming up in this bottom groove, but Nelson Reeves peeks out underneath him to make it 3 wide for 3rd, but Halleck is going to get a shove from Kyle Vaughters, and they will try and take the challenge to this 12 car, who has dominated the early portions of this race, but there's still 50 laps to go. Anything can still happen in this race, especially on a super speedway like this, and it shows. We've had several different leaders already, a lot of lead changes, but so far, it's a very exciting race, and I can't wait to see who emerges from it as the victor.
Yeah, a lot of time left in this race, and there is possible pit stops to be had here. Depending on where cautions fly, we'll just have to see how well the strategy works out as the 62 makes a charge for the lead.
Kyle Vaughters in the 62 and Nelson Reeves in the 17, both driving Toyotas, both looking for their first career win. It's really early to be talking about the race victory, but you never know at this type of racetrack with all 42 cars still in this lead draft, in this tight pack of cars. One slip from anybody can touch off the big one, as we've seen so many times at these super speedways. It can happen anywhere. It can happen up at the front, in the middle of the field, or at the very tail end. So no one is safe, no matter where you're running, even Kyle Vaughters as he crosses the start-finish line to lead lap number 9.
Yeah, nobody is safe. Anywhere where you're on the track can cause trouble. You just got to be aware.
And there's trouble in turn 1. I saw the caution lights come on, and they're going to race back to the caution flag. You can see the caution lights on. Kevin Carter with damage. Anderson Reed, Stephen Hunter, and another big wreck after his accident in Las Vegas. He has damage. Jose Guerrero, Richard Herman, Diego Yepes in another accident. And the caution flag is back out. They are going to race back to the start-finish line. Miles Mashburn making a move on the inside for the lead on Nelson Reeves. This is the race back to the caution flag. Whoever leads when they get to the start-finish line will be your race leader under these caution laps.
Yeah, it's a surprising rule that it does come into play really well. The drive to the checkered as the yellow comes out definitely plays a lot of strategy, as the 72 makes advantage of it and takes the lead.
So the first caution of the race comes out on lap number 10, and a lot of cars have been eliminated in this one. Namely, Stephen Hunter, the defending champion. William Brock's got some heavy damage on the rear end of his car. Jordan Presto, the Pensacola 500 winner from a year ago, he's got some severe damage on the front end of his Ford. Stephen Hunter, I mentioned earlier, Yepes, Jose Guerrero, Richard Herman, a lot of these cars sitting on pit road with damage, and I don't know how many of them will be able to continue or not. Jeffrey Finguy's got a little bit of damage as well. He won last week at Texas, so the momentum will not carry over, but man, a lot of cars involved in this one, and I'm not sure how many will continue.
Yeah, definitely got to get that damage repair as quick as you can, as going a lap down here is a very bad thing to do, as it does take a lot of strength to get back up and try to defend and try to get up ahead of the leaders before the next caution comes out, as we see the 23 dive down.
Looks like a little strategy play from Ryan Soper. He's the first one to peel off on the pit road. It's a little early for pit stops, but maybe he thinks the handling on his car needs a bit of an adjustment. And he's not alone. A couple of cars making their way down pit road. This will not likely get them to the end of the race, but maybe an adjustment or two is what they need to get back into contention, as we take you to what happened in this accident. So this is about where the accident starts. It's about where Patrick Smith is in the 07, and right in front of him, Yepes and Finguy look like they're going to pinch together, and they just hook Patrick Smith in the 07, sending him into a spin and just peeling up into the rest of the pack. A tough break for everybody in this wreck, especially Stephen Hunter, who did not need another incident to plague his 2021 season. He won 3 races in a row, remember, but then that harrowing crash at Las Vegas sidelined him from most sessions, and he's lucky to be even in this race, but an incident early on like this cannot help. This is the view from high above. You can see Diego Yepes and Jeffrey Finguy in the middle of a 4-wide situation. They just get oh so close together, and eventually they just get hooked and collect Patrick Smith, who then slides up into the middle of oncoming traffic, and thankfully no one went over in this one, but it's a tough break, like I said, for everybody in this accident. A couple of these guys were trying to make their way back into the top 30 in points, like Diego Yepes and Richard Herman, but that will not happen here today, as all of them are involved in this accident.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that 51's okay. Another hard hit, obviously having injuries earlier this season. Hopefully he can rebound and get checked up and be able to get cleared for next race.
So, with that being said, Miles Mashburn continues to lead this race. He stayed out under caution, coming to start lap number 13 right now. And Nelson Reeves running in second. And how about that car in 4th position? Allison Rose in the 46. She had a very strong run in the Pensacola 500 before being involved in an early wreck. Then she made the field, I believe it was at Texas, where she managed to get a top 20 finish in that Crowley Foods Mustang. So this is her 3rd start of the season, and she's running in the top 5. A great run, especially for an underfunded team like Capital Motorsports.
Yeah, it's definitely great to see, especially for the sponsors and the people that have worked on this car. It's definitely really rewarding just to be up at the front at one of these races, as many people, many manufacturers and sponsors try to get up to the top ranks of the series, and just by showing up here is great.
So she currently runs in fourth, a good run for her. Kyle Vaughters runs behind her in fifth, ahead of Michael McCuskey. Cody Goforth in seventh, ahead of the 12 and 21 two Venta Motorsports cars, eighth and ninth, and then Joshua Michaels rounds out the top 10. It looks like the first car to pit will be Ryan Soper in about 17th place. So we should take the restart at about lap 15, and when that happens, it won't take long for these guys to get back to 3 and 4 wide from a single file restart, because they know that the urgency level is high if they want to stay out front and ahead of the danger.
Yeah, I wonder how certain drivers are going to take this approach. Do you want to be safe and try not to get into the wreck, maybe hang in the back, or do you want to be aggressive and try to stay ahead of the wreck, like how some of these guys did just previously?
So, as they come off of turn 4, the lights are still on the pace car. I expect they will go off when they cross the start-finish line next. So, it'll be Miles Mashburn leading this race. I believe these are his first laps led since the Pensacola 500, where he finished runner-up to Lane Sanders. So, a good run from the 72 team, who really need it. They've been struggling in the races since the 500. They've slipped all the way back to, I believe, 27th in points. So, Mashburn needs a strong run in this 72, and he's getting it so far, as the lights do go out on the pace car, so we will be going green next time by.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and see how everybody does. The 72 has command of this race. Hopefully he can have a good restart, but not good enough so he can get too far ahead of the rest of the competitors and just get swamped by the rest of them.
It's Allison Rose running fourth behind Daniel Bouchard and Nelson Reeves. Kyle Vaughters running fifth, with Michael McCuskey sixth, Cody Goforth in seventh, ahead of the two Venta Motorsports cars, like I said earlier in the broadcast, and Joshua Michaels rounding out the top 10 in his Royal Performance Motorsports Toyota, ahead of Brandon Beal, Justin Hutchinson, and the rest of this field, which has been dwindled down slightly by that accident, but we still got plenty of cars in it that are capable of winning. It's just a matter of which one will be able to survive the carnage and make it to the finish line first here at Armory Digital Superspeedway.
Yeah, going down the backstretch, we see the rest of those guys that were involved in the wreck try to catch up to the lead pack. They'll be starting on the inside here. Wonder how this is going to play into the rest of these guys' hands, as they could possibly slow them up, and one wrong move can possibly cause another wreck.
That is true, and as they make their way into turn 3, Miles Mashburn is well aware of that. He's been involved in plenty of accidents this season, and he's hoping to avoid another one here while leading this race. This is his best running position in a long time, and he's hoping just to survive and, who knows, maybe get his third career win along the way. But he's going to have to hold off some strong challengers in Reeves, Bouchard, Rose, Vaughters, and the rest of this field. As the pace car pulls on the pit road, we're getting ready to restart this race.
Yeah, we'll go ahead to see 72, 17, 73, 46 lead the field, as this is going to be one wild restart. Let's see how everybody does. Good luck, everybody.
Heading into the restart zone, the flag man has the green flag in his hand. It's in the air, and we're back underway at lap 15 of 58, with Miles Mashburn pulling clear of the lap traffic. Nelson Reeves in shape to do the same, and he makes a move to the outside already. Nelson Reeves is hoping Daniel Bouchard will go with him, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. They're going to settle it out between them as Mashburn starts to get a bit of a gap. You don't want too much of a gap here, otherwise you'll be just a sitting duck for the rest of the pack behind you.
Yeah, with these lap cars, the field is spreading out. It's just the top three getting away. Hopefully everybody can get by them, as this may mean some trouble for the rest of these guys, as they are really slowing them up.
Yeah, Allison Rose is clear of traffic. She's closing in on the leaders right now. And it looks like Kyle Vaughters is clear, and I think one of the Venta Motorsports entries is clear as well. But Jeffrey Finguy, Anderson Reed, Patrick Smith, they're all holding up the leaders as they make their way onto the front stretch, heading into the tri-oval kink. And as they come off of the tri-oval, Miles Mashburn continues to lead, but Bouchard and Reeves have swapped positions A lot can happen in the span of a lap, and because here comes Allison Rose up to 3rd place in the Capital Racing number 46. That car is going places.
Yeah, she keeps on moving up. Sooner or later, she'll be able to get up into this lead. But there's still a lot of competitors trying to get back up to this lead, as we only have about 6 cars in this lead pack, and then we go back to Justin Hutchinson and the rest of the field.
But they are starting to close in a hurry, because as long as these guys stay side by side like Vaughters and Reeves are doing, that'll just draw them closer in a hurry. You can see it in the back of your shot as Daniel Bouchard makes a move for the lead on the inside of Miles Mashburn. Coming off of turn 4, the 72 alongside the 73 heading into the tri-oval here. And it's going to be a drag race to see who leads this lap. I believe Mashburn will hold him off. No! Bouchard will take the lead by the slimmest of margins. He will move into the top spot as Allison Rose makes a push for 2nd ahead of Miles Mashburn. This 46 is a beast on super speedways. If only she can make every race this season, this car would be a big challenger on these types of tracks.
Yeah, if she can stay up here and get the points, that will definitely help be able to get her up into that top 30 in points. And possibly be able to make every single race, which would definitely help out this 46 team.
But right now, the pack is condensing, and there's a lot more cars in it now. As Allison Rose makes a move to the inside, this is for the race lead on Daniel Bouchard, but Jared Polanski is trying to make it 3 wide. He tucks back in line for the time being. Bouchard will lead at the stripe, but man, this 46 car is really making a hard push for the lead, because she knows if she can lead this 1 lap and get that extra bonus point, that could do wonders for her season, even if it's only almost a third of the way over.
Just 1 point can make the difference in a season, as we see most of these races are points races, and you definitely want every single point you need for either the top 30, playoffs, maybe even the championship when it comes down to that. Just got to pick up as much as you can here.
Because remember, Nick Ortiz, who's now making a move for the lead on the inside, made the playoffs last season by 1 point over Stephen Gale. Was that fastest lap at Phoenix that he needed, and he got it. And now Nick Ortiz has powered around Bouchard and Rose in the 46 to put Nick Ortiz out in the lead of this race. He will lead at the stripe.
Yeah, an aggressive move by Ortiz. Yes, the 18 of Polanski and the 10 of Justin. Oh, there's a wreck.
And there's 1 car up into the catch fence. I believe that was the 12 as well. Ryan Soper up on his roof. Oh. And for the 3rd consecutive week, his race will end early. Pole sitter Zachary Fitzwater involved. The 38 of Jeff Bolton is there. Andres Molina in the 71 is involved. And man, this could perhaps be a bigger wreck than we saw in the first one. There's Bobo Jones involved in it. Molina, Fitzwater, Bolton. Man, there was a lot of cars involved in this one, and I hope they're all right after a series of hard impacts on lap 19.
Yeah, there was a lot of flipping in there as well. Hopefully everybody's okay, especially the 23 and the 12. I believe those 2 went flipping as well.
12 is still rolling, but as they come to the yellow flag, it will be Jared Polanski in the lead of this race. As they slow down for the caution flag, they will file in line behind the pace car, and will, of course, find a view of what happened in this dreadful wreck at Armory Digital Superspeedway on lap number 19 that has involved even more cars, including that of the pole sitter Zachary Fitzwater, the fastest man in practice Jeff Bolton, and several others, including Ryan Soper, Bobo Jones, and Andres Molina included. It's just this part of racing when when accidents happen. When accidents happen in this type of racing, you never know who's going to be involved in it and how many will be involved in it. You just have to be ready for when such an impact can occur.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you really want to watch out. Hopefully the safety restrictions are doing what they can do, as it looks like everybody is probably going to be pitting here.
This should get them to the end of the race on the fuel and tires they have going on at this pit stop. Jeffrey Finguy you see staying out, but he is of course a lap down. So all of the lead lap cars peel off the pit here. We'll keep an eye out for the race off pit road to see where your favorite driver comes out of the pits. But this is a tough break for Ryan Soper, his 3rd consecutive DNF, which will likely drop him out of the top 30 in points now. It's just unfortunate for everybody involved, but like we said, it's just part of superspeedway racing. Accidents happen, and you never know who's going to be involved.
Yeah, it's definitely a bad day if you just keep on getting those DNFs. Definitely don't want that to happen, so hopefully you can get onto an upswing soon.
And as you can see, the car is peeling off of pit road. You can see Jared Polanski, the first one to leave. Daniel Bouchard right behind him. Miles Mashburn, Justin Hutchinson, Nick Ortiz round out the top 5. Coming out of the pits, Allison Rose in 6th, Stephen Gale, Kyle Waters, Joshua Michaels, and Jake McMillan round out the top 10 coming out of the pits. In the race off pit road, as we take a look at this uniquely banked pit exit at Armory Digital, allows these guys to build more momentum coming out of the pits. And we can now take a look at what happened to all these cars in a serious wreck here at Armory Digital. It looks like this is where it starts with Bobo Jones in the 86, Andres Molina in the 71. It looks like they'll get turned up into the 12 and 17. And, oh wow, you can see the 12 ripping the catch fence in turn 1 and 2. Ryan Soper makes hard head-on contact with the 71, as does Fitzwater and Bolton, who were well clear of this incident at the back, but they just had nowhere to go when Molina spun right in front of them. That's just a tough call to make for all those cars involved in that accident right there. Another angle now. Andres Molina gets turned by the 86 of Jones, who gets turned into the 12, who really gets up into the air, into the catch fence. That'll take a little while to clean up, as Ryan Soper tumbles down the short chute here at Armory Digital, and just like that, 3 more cars join them down there. It's a very self-cleaning racetrack at that end of the speedway, but one last view from high above, you can see these 12 get up into the fence. You can see Andres Molina just sliding down into Ryan Soper, and then into the path of Fitzwater and Jeff Bolton, who are all involved in this accident, and all of their days will come to an early end here on lap 19. It's unfortunate for all these guys, but it's just a part of Superspeedway racing, and they can look forward to Denver Motorsports Park next week. As it looks like, oh, what's going on here? Jared Polanski exited the pits as the race leader, and some sort of mechanical gremlin has bit this 18 car in a big way. He might be out of this race on lap 21 of 58 here at Armory Digital.
Yeah, there must have been a mechanical issue, as the car looks perfectly fine. I don't think he hit anything or was involved in any of those wrecks.
So that will put Daniel Bouchard back in the lead of this race, with Miles Mashburn second, shuffle the entire running order up 1 spot because of Jared Polanski's sudden departure from this race. We'll find word of what happened to this 18 car, and we'll tell you what happened when news is available to us, but that's just a right shame for that 18 car. Running up front on a super speedway is not easy, and then just a random engine failure while leading the race. It's just hard, but again, just racing deal. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, that must have been a ticking time bomb. Something must have went wrong in that car. Not sure exactly what yet, but hopefully nothing really happened too much to that car, and hopefully they can salvage it for hopefully another race in the future.
So, as they come to take one to go before the restart, Daniel Bouchard is in the lead of this race, and he will lead at the restart, with Miles Mashburn running second, Justin Hutchinson and Nick Ortiz running second and third, as we look at the team feverishly working on that 18 car, but I don't know if they'll be able to get back out there or not. As I said, the 2 Finish Line Motorsports cars, 1-2 in points, and running 3rd and 4th in the racetrack right now, with Allison Rose continuing her strong run up in 5th, ahead of Stephen Gale, Kyle Waters, Joshua Michaels, Jake McMillan, and now Arthur Xavier has made his way into the top 10. Coming to a restart on lap 24, hopefully we'll have seen the last caution flag, but you just never know at a super speedway like this when the next one comes out, or if there even will be another one.
Yeah, we still have a long way to go. We're not even at halfway yet. Seen 2 cautions, two really big hits, especially for the 12 and the 23, basically going over their roofs, and hopefully they're okay. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how everybody takes on the restart once again, especially after that big hit that we just had here.
So, they're coming around 3 and 4 to take the restart, with Bouchard and Mashburn leading the way. Will Finguy, Reed, and Smith play a factor in this one as well. They're on the inside line, laps down, but they're in the same track position as the leaders are. And we saw last restart how they held up the field in quite a way. So I'm hoping they can get out of the way nicely and we can get back to some high-speed 3 and 4 wide racing like we've seen as the pace car pulls on the pit road. And we're getting ready to restart this race on lap 24 of 58.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting restart. The 3 guys that we had last restart on the bottom once again. No new faces on that bottom that are laps down. We'll go ahead and hit the restart zone here, and we are green.
Green flag is out. We're back underway. Kyle Waters makes a move to the outside on Stephen Gale, but for the most part, the rest of the top 10 stay single file. As this time, Finguy and the rest of the lap cars get a bit more of an advantage on the lead lap cars as they remain side by side through turns 1 and 2. As Bouchard continues to maintain a lead over Mashburn, Hutchinson, and Ortiz is facing a challenge from both Rose and Gale for the 4th position on the racetrack. As Mashburn's stuck behind Bouchard, he's got no room to make a move because now they're clear of Finguy and the rest, but now Bouchard moves down to defend the inside line. So if Mashburn wants to make a pass, he's going to have to do it on the high side, and he's got some good help, but Nick Ortiz dives down to help Bouchard, so he's still got some help up there, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, you can gain some momentum on the high side, but it's such a big track that the high side, it's just way too long of a way as we see Ortiz make a move on the bottom.
Ortiz making move on the inside for the race lead on Daniel Bouchard coming to the stripe. 3 wide for the lead, 4 wide for the lead.
4.
Kyle Waters making a dive to the inside, and he's going to breeze by all 3 of them. Put the 62 out in the lead of this race for the first time on lap 25, and he's got his Royal Performance Motorsports teammate Joshua Michaels pushing him along in the draft in the 26. So the Royal Performance Motorsports cars are very swift this race. It wouldn't surprise me at all if one of them found victory lane for the first time here.
What an aggressive move by the 62, making it 4 wide. Had so much room to do it. I am really impressed that he was able to make it stick and be able to hold on to the lead right now as they are going through 3 and 4 teammates, 1 and 2.
Waters and Michaels, neither one has made the trip to victory lane before. They've come close on a few occasions. Michaels with a 4th place finish last time out at Texas, his best finish of the season so far. He'd like to better that here with a victory, and that, because remember, with the All-Star race looming ever closer, a win here would guarantee yourself an entry there. And look at this battle for 3rd. Brandon Beal, Henry Thomas, Arthur Xavier. These are cars we have not seen up front most of the day, but yet here they are right now on lap 26, dicing it out for 3rd.
Yeah, as we said in the pre-race, everybody has a chance of winning this one. Everybody has really fast cars. That's why they're able to make it, especially for those who had to race in the go or be as fast to get into the go home race. This is going to be a very interesting race to see as we are only just barely about to be halfway here.
So, as Brandon Beal tries to make a move to the outside of the Royal Performance cars, but they just stay in line and force Beal to try to back off and consider his next move. Because right now they're 3 and 4 wide behind him, and these 2 cars are flying in tandem almost. Waters and Michaels are. And I don't know if anybody can get past them as long as they keep working together like this. But Michaels has got to be thinking, if he can get past this 62 and into the lead for himself, that ought to be an interesting battle. As Brandon Beal makes another move to the inside, can he split the 2 RPM cars up here?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see how well those 2 are working together, especially being teammates. Definitely want that teammate connection as the rest of these guys have to try to get around them or else they won't be able to do anything.
That is true, and they're 3 wide. They might have just split the RPM cars up. Yes, they did. Michael's now stuck on the outside with Kyle Waters still out in front, but he's a lone charger out there. Ahead of Arthur Xavier's Chevrolet, Miles Mashburn, Henry Thomas. It's too many to count. They're all dicing it out for 2nd place behind the 62 car, who is pulling away a little bit. You don't want to pull away too much unless you got drafting help behind you, and he does not. They are 4 wide for 2nd right now. It's anybody's guess who will take the spot. I believe, though, it'll be Miles Mashburn.
Yeah, the inside line, doing a really good job as Ricky Freeman Jr. making the work, trying to go to the lead right next to the 72 as he moves up.
So Vaughters continues to lead, but Freeman is still there, making a move for second, and he's not done yet, making a move for the race. The lead now is Ricky Freeman Jr. With all the talk being about his teammates Justin Hutchinson and Nick Ortiz, people forget that Freeman is also in a playoff position, currently 12th in points. So, if he can pull a strong run out here, maybe even a race win, he can shake up the playoff picture in a big way.
Yeah, these races are definitely great ways to shake up the points, especially for guys that are just barely outside the cutoff line or the top 30. You can do really good in these races and be able to put yourself ahead of the rest of the competition going into some other races.
So it's Ricky Freeman Jr. out front. He leads his first lap of the day on lap 29, leading a Robbers Racing 2-3 as Mashburn moves up to cover off Kyle Vaughters, and J.D. Martin's still glued to that back bumper of Ricky Freeman Jr. as they barrel down the backstretch out of turn 2. And Ricky Freeman Jr. starting to get a bit of a gap forming with help from J.D. Martin. Christian Vargas is there. Miles Mashburn is still in the mix. And don't forget about Kyle Vaughters and Joshua Michaels. They are still there in this lead pack. And if they get formed up again, boy oh boy, will they be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, with the couple wrecks that we had early on, the field looks a little bit shallow, but there is still a lot of competitors that are have a very good chance of getting up to the front. As long as you can stay within the lead pack and hopefully move up through the field, you can be where the 01 and the 66 are, running up front.
And Miles Mashburn continuing to hold off Christian Vargas, but for how long is the question. You can see outside pole sitter Lane Sanders there as well. He only led 4 laps en route to victory in the Pensacola 500. Could he do something similar here today and notch his second win of the season in as many starts on the Superspeedway? As Henry Thomas dives to the inside, making a move for third on Vargas and Mashburn. And they're 3 wide for fourth, but right now as Ricky Freeman Jr. ahead of the Robbers Racing pair in second and third.
Yeah, this is definitely some good racing up at the front. A little bit single file, hopefully. Oh, the 72 making a move.
On his teammate, nonetheless. J.D. Martin trying to hold off Mashburn. It looks like he will. But these guys battling side by side will just draw this pack right back up to them. Led by Henry Thomas in the 8. As Mashburn tries to get underneath Freeman. And it looks like he will with help from Henry Thomas in the 8. And Roberto Cron Jr. First time we've mentioned his name today. In the 81. He's making a charge through the field. He started near the back, but he's making a charge to the front here. As you see Thomas making a move on the inside 3 wide for the lead. They're coming up on lap traffic here. That could play a bit of a factor in splitting this pack up a little bit.
Good move on the 8, trying to get out in front, especially with that lap cart. Definitely have a sense of urgency as now the 84 making a move.
That's how
to get to the lead.
Yeah, that's Halleck in the 84. They're coming up to lap. Cody Goforth in the 60 was involved in one of these accidents. Coming up to lap him, the field is stacking up behind him, and we've got trouble in the back as they're trying to get past Goforth. Brandon Beal, Allison Rose in the 46. Her hopes of winning this race have just tanked, as have Nick Ortiz, Arthur Xavier, and Brandon Beal. They will race back to the line. Halleck in the 84 is out front, but they're a bit of a sitting duck right now, as Vaughters and Michaels are paired up once again, and they will try and make an attempt past Halleck here in this last half lap before the yellow flag.
Gotta try to block those 2 teammates. That's going to be such a hard thing to do. The 62 below. The 35 out of nowhere, Stephen Yale.
Making 3 wide moves. This is an urgent time to make them. Coming to the caution flag, it will be Kyle Vaughters out in front of this field as the caution flag is back in the air on lap 33. And the Royal Performance Motorsports pair is 1-2 once again. But the third incident of the day in that area of the racetrack, and that is a tough situation for that 46 guy. We were talking all the praises about her run, but it might all come to an end right here as she is sitting on pit road getting repairs made on her Crowley Foods Ford.
Yeah, that's such a sad thing to see. 46 running so good, was making very aggressive moves and making them stick. Hopefully she can get back out there and gain a little bit more position, but sad to say, but it doesn't look too good for that 46 out there. Sad to see that.
It looks like Brandon Beal may also be done. Nelson Reeves with damage as well. As the field cycles around under caution, we shouldn't see anybody on pit road here unless they need to make an adjustment or get some, or maybe try and hope that fresh tires will help them handle a little bit better. But I don't see any of the leaders coming in unless it's absolutely necessary. So, yep, all the leaders staying out, and that will leave the running order as it is, with Kyle Vaughters in the race lead, Joshua Michaels in second, and we will get you a replay of what happens to Allison Rose, Brandon Beal, Arthur Xavier, Nick Ortiz, and the rest of the cars involved in this wreck. This is the 1UP Superstar Series, live from Armory Digital Superspeedway. A big accident on lap 33 has eliminated even more of the field. So here's where it begins. They're coming up to lap Cody Goforth, and I think the field just stacks up a lot, and Ortiz just gets turned into the 46, who again gets turned into the 99. It's just a chain reaction. From the moment they caught the 60, it was just a chain reaction of events that resulted in all these cars getting even more damage.
Yeah, just a sense of urgency, not even getting there to that lap car yet. Everybody just being very antsy and stressed out, hopefully trying not to get into a wreck, and sadly it happens, especially with some pretty fast cars in this field. Sorry.
Another look at this accident, another angle from the 46. You can see the 91 tries to move up to try and avoid Cody Goforth, and there's just no room for that, and just like that, 4 cars are taken in this accident. Big disappointment for Allison Rose. Her run was very spectacular in underfunded equipment, but looks like she'll have to wait till the next one at Pensacola to try and shine once again, unless she can put together some more funding to make more races. But it just goes to show that talent isn't always apparent if there's not the funding to go with it.
Yeah, that's the cruel thing about racing. You just have to have money. You have to know people as well. Just try to find what you can just to get into these races, and whatever they're doing, they need to do better and hopefully get back to great shape, great form, and hopefully get back at it at the next Superspeedway.
So it looks like we'll have another lap of caution left to go, but Kyle Vaughters continues to lead the way ahead of his teammate Joshua Michaels. It's a Toyota Racing 1-2-3 with Stephen Gale in third, ahead of Halleck and Bouchard running in the top 5. Then it's Duke Ansack, Jake McMillan, Henry Thomas, Michael McCuskey, and Miles Mashburn running out the top 10. We'll take you to the restart shortly once we get the field sorted out. This is the 1UP Superstar Series, live from Armory Digital Superspeedway on lap 36, cycling through our third yellow flag of the day. As the pace car leads them onto the start-finish straight, we will have 1 lap to go till the restart, coming to the line. And what's this? We've got an issue with the 6th place runner, Duke Ansack, whose engine has just expired on lap 36. So it's another part of racing. He's like we saw with Jared Polansky, except this time it's much more pronounced. And the Hardcore Robotics number 83 is going to be done for the day here. It's unfortunate to see, but it's just a part of racing when these motors can only take a certain amount before they just go out. And if you need them to last 58 laps, and sometimes they can only make 36.
Yeah, surprising to see both of the cars that have mechanical failures are both Toyotas. I'm not sure there was something in these engines today that might have happened to cause these issues, but hopefully we'll see after the race or when we get an update from the 83 and the 18 to hopefully see what exactly is going on and why these guys are out of this race for unfortunate matters.
I don't even believe he'll be able to make it back around to the pit lane. He's very slow, and he's only just now coming through turn 2. As you can see, the pace car leading the field down the back straightaway, but this 83 car is not going to make it back to the pit lane. if he can pull off, right where that pit exit is, if he can pull off there or stop right about there, he will be able to get it off track pretty soon. And there he is. He just couldn't make it back to the pits. He'll get a tow back. And we're going to get ready to restart this race with 21 laps to go. 3 Toyotas out in front, but they got to be worried about what's happened to the 83 and the 18.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you have to worry about, especially if it's from both incidents from the same manufacturer. So hopefully the top 3 here, which are all Toyotas, hopefully can put that mindset beside them and just race their hearts out for the next 21 laps here.
And as the pace car is on pit road, it leaves us in the hands of Kyle Waters, Joshua Michaels, Stephen Gale, JQ Halleck, Daniel Bouchard coming to the restart zone. And the green flag is back in the air. We are racing once again on lap 38 at Armory Digital. 21 laps to go, and Waters gets a good jump on the field. But he's still got his teammate in tow, and that's really who he needs to see in his rearview mirror right now.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go ahead and see on the backstretch, see how much of a speed difference these lap cars are. Everybody just trying to get around them as fast as they can, especially with those 2 teammates out in front, 2 Toyotas out in front, the 2662 and then the 35, which is also another Toyota out in front. Same with the 75.
That's the 15 of Anderson Reed, a lap car in the mix as well, but that is a teammate to Stephen Gale. So if the 15 can hold up these guys to benefit his teammate, I'm sure he'd be glad to do it. But as we go to our chopper from the coming off of turn 4, it's going to be side by side for the race lead here, with Michaels trying to edge out his teammate Waters for the lead coming off of turn 4. It looks like Waters will be able to hold him off. But man, if this 26 car can stop being the wingman and start being the attacker on charge leading this race, that could be a big sign of concern for the rest of the field.
Yeah, definitely. With they might have a teammate. They might have teammate negotiations, but that might be off once the race gets later and later into the run. Especially if they're so far in front. I'm not entirely sure why they're still trying to battle each other 3 wide for second place.
And then McMillan is in 5th place, closing the gap, because remember, if you're 3 wide, you're just punching a bigger hole in the air, and that's allowing these guys to close right back in, and they're starting to get a little antsy back there as well. But right now, Joshua Michaels has asserted himself back into 2nd with Waters directly ahead, and he's got to think, if I can get closed back up to that 62 and we can start pulling away again, this will be a really good day for the RPM team.
I mean, great showing by them, being up front most of this middle part of this race so far. Putting on a good show for the team, the manufacturer, and their sponsors.
And here comes Joshua Michaels for the lead once again on Kyle Waters, and this pack is getting bigger and bigger behind him. You can see their other teammate in the shot, Henry Brown, in the Tide machine, but Joshua Michaels powers past to the lead on lap number 40, and with 17 laps to go, closing in on 17 laps to go in this race, Joshua Michaels takes the lead of this race. He leads for the first time.
Yep, definitely going to see that 26 out front now, as everybody is catching up, so this might change up the dynamic between the teammates, hopefully get them spread out and try to not let them get aligned again as they do here on the high side.
They get shuffled back, and now Daniel Bouchard assumes the race lead once again, but Halleck in the 84 has got something to say about it, with help from Henry Thomas, Justin Hutchinson, and to an extent Henry Brown in the other RPM car in the 22. They're 4 wide for the top spot. Here comes Halleck in the 84 trying to lead for the first time, I believe, all season long, is this 84 car trying to lead their first laps of the campaign. But I don't know, Justin Hutchinson trying to get past them. He's a really strong competitor, but I believe Halleck will be able to hold him off, and they did. Good job. First laps led of the season.
Yeah, that's a good thing for that 84. Definitely want to be able to show that off. The 8 and the 21 on the bottom side, teammates working and hopefully doing what the 62 and the 26 did earlier.
That moves Henry Thomas to the race lead. He has not won the season. He got a win last season, but it was a long time ago, and he really wants another one to add to his racing resume. Is Jake McMillan, a two-time winner already, trying to get his first win of the season and the third of his career. But right now, this pack is still electrifying this crowd, battling it out for the race lead. And it looks like the RPM cars are going to try and bunch back up at the tail end. But as of right now, it's Henry Thomas out in the lead of this race.
Yeah, good showing by that 8. Not too strong of a season so far, but this race is definitely going to be a good showing for the Venta Motorsports, as the 21, 8, and 12 have shown their strength.
But here comes Henry Brown on the inside, the other RPM car that has been taking a bit of a back seat this race compared to his teammates. But Henry Brown trying to prove he's got as much speed as the both of them. He's going to try and take the lead from Thomas. But behind him, Stephen Gale, Michael McCuskey, they're all racing for position. This is a pack of 12 cars getting ready to settle the victory. Here at Armory Digital, we're coming up on about 16 laps to go. Can Henry Brown become the third RPM driver to lead this race? It looks like he'll be able to. Unless Thomas gets a run up the high side, it looks like Thomas at the line will keep the lead up in that Henry battle for the top spot. Thomas over Brown, but this time the 22 has help from his teammate. Waters is back, and Michaels is just another car behind with Miles Mashburn in between.
A whole lot of racing, a whole lot of teammate strategy going into play right now, as we have some really good competition up at the front. This race is definitely not going to be over until the final lap.
12 cars under a blanket getting ready to settle the victory here, and a lot of them have yet to see victory lane in their careers. Kyle Waters, Joshua Michaels, Henry Brown, J.Q. Halleck, Michael McCuskey, Ricky Freeman Jr. all have yet to visit victory lane, but they're all in this lead pack right now. As we check on the fastest lap point, Lane Sanders currently holds that at a 48.85. So a good run from the 41. He might not be in this lead pack again, but he's going to pick up a bonus point for the fastest lap, and that may prove to be the game changer for him, as he's clinging on to a top 12 spot right now.
Yeah, it's definitely good to get those bonus points, especially early on in the season. Just try to do what you can, get a good points lead, and hopefully be able to fight for whatever you need. Top 30 playoffs, all that good stuff.
So Mashburn now moves into the race lead, but he's got a challenge from Daniel Bouchard, who will take it right back, with Halleck and Freeman pushing him along. You gotta look at these RPM cars as the big threat to win this race, but looking beyond them, who do you think can even challenge?
Ricky Freeman Jr. and the rest of Finish Line Motorsports, they do a really good job at these play races. The 01, the 10, the 19 sadly out of this race already. Just a lot of good showing from those guys, and a lot of movement, and a lot of great racing by them so far. 1-2 in the points right now, and doing a really good job being up at the front here as well.
And one of them's about to take the lead is Ricky Freeman Jr. in the 01, coming off of turn 4. He will take the lead back, but Hutchinson's going to try and take the lead for himself. There's no team orders anymore. We're closing in now on 12 laps to go in this race. Anything is still a possibility, as Freeman leads that lap ahead of his teammate, but Hutchinson's going to try and make a move with help from Henry Brown and Joshua Michaels. But Freeman has Michael McCuskey, he's got J.Q. Halleck, he's got Daniel Bouchard, and he's got Kyle Waters. They're all on the high side, getting ready to give that 01 a big push when he needs it.
Yeah, side draft also coming into play. Hopefully you can't get too close. That 01 really strong on the high side. Hopefully it can stay side by side going through 3 and 4 right here.
And they will stay side by side through 3 and 4. But he needs that 47 to just be a little bit closer right now than he currently is. Because right now Hutchinson's got the lead and Mashburn trying the challenge on the inside. So it's anybody's guess who's going to be able to win this race out of these 12. But I've got to say, Finish Line Motorsports has tipped their hand, and they've put themselves in a very good position right now. Hutchinson and Freeman out in front.
They were hanging them out in the back for a little bit here, and then all of a sudden they just charge up to the front. 1-2 right now, showing off how strong those Fords are.
But don't look now. The RPM cars are back together in that middle lane. Michaels ahead of Waters this time. We'll see what they can do in that formation, and we'll see if Henry Brown can make a move down to cover him off. Nope, it looks like they'll be battling with Michael McCuskey as they're now 3 wide for the race lead. Miles Mashburn, he's going to try and take it. They're coming to 10 laps to go, and at this rate, anything is still on the cards for this race. Even a first-time winner. We've yet to see one this year, but as we said at the top of the show, if there's any place it's going to happen, it'll be right here.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those racetracks that's proven to have many first-time winners, as this series has produced many, just not this season yet, but maybe it can all change today. We'll go ahead and see as we're winding down with only 10 laps to go.
Ricky Freeman Jr.'s got a pretty big lead. He's got to be careful of that as they're coming up to lap 2 more cars. It looks like Allison Rose is one of them and Cody Goforth is the other. So if those two hold up both lanes equally, that could be a big stack up in this pack, and that could lead to another accident like we saw on lap 33. So
definitely going to be weird to see how this all plays out, as the 8 is still stuck behind him.
That'll drop Henry Thomas and Justin Hutchinson to the back of the line as Ricky Freeman Jr. now takes a dominating lead in this race. It's still anybody's guess, as there's still 9 laps to go, but man, has Ricky Freeman Jr. just put himself in a very good position coming through 3 and 4 with Michaels and Mashburn side by side behind him.
Yeah, we still have a lot of racing left to do. Definitely going to be a very interesting last couple laps, especially with this spread out. We'll just go ahead and see how everybody can catch up and regroup and chase down the other ones.
So, Miles Mashburn getting a push from Jake McMillan. They are working their way past Michaels, but Kyle Waters has gotten behind the 26, and they're teaming up once again at RPM, trying to find a way around Freeman. But Mashburn and McMillan on the bottom, Halleck on the bottom, and Mashburn and McMillan up the middle. They're coming off turn 4, and it looks like Freeman will continue to maintain the gap. They're still 3 and 4 wide behind them as we're closing in on the end of this race. I still don't know who's going to win this thing, but Freeman's got to be the favorite right here.
Yeah, he's definitely showing his strong suit right here. Just didn't do too much in the opening parts of this race, but that doesn't really matter. As long as you're up front at the opening parts of the race, you can really show how fast your car is and hopefully go for the win, as this is definitely a good time to show.
They're coming up to lap Christian Vargas, though, in the 54. So if there's going to be a time to make a move on this 01, it's got to be pretty soon, because they're coming up on more lap traffic. And here comes the 21 to the inside, trying to take the race lead away of McMillan. And Bouchard making a move on the inside as well. 3 wide for, it looks like, second now, because Freeman is able to hold them all off for the time being. Starting lap 53, they're coming up to lap Vargas here in the 54, and we'll see if he plays a factor in deciding who wins this race.
Yeah, he's just sticking to the middle, so if you're up in the middle lane, I'd suggest you get out of the way as soon as you can, as he is definitely going to just be holding it there. Just try to do what you can to get around him as soon as you can, as time is ticking here, folks.
We're almost at the end of this thing. Freeman is past. McMillan's making his way past. Mashburn swings high to try and get past. But it looks like the two that are going to be held up the most is the RPM pair of Michaels and Waters. They may fall out of contention here, but who knows, because we're coming up on, I believe, 5 laps to go. And at this rate, we're going to have a lot of changes for position, but none out front, because Ricky Freeman Jr. is doing a heck of a job holding off this pack. We're closing in on the end of this race. 5 laps to go.
Yeah, everybody keep on moving behind. The 01 is just letting him stay out in front, as the side draft is really affecting this, as they're just slowing each other up and not being able to catch the 01, just keeping a comfortable lead, being where he needs to be, and hopefully once it comes down to the end, he is still out in front.
It looks like the pack has picked up Christian Vargas, but they're coming up to lap Patrick Smith and Nick Ortiz in the 91, so this pack of 12 has now become a pack of 13, with Christian Vargas being added to the mix a lap down. But if they're going to catch Ortiz and Smith, they're going to have to deal with it in a different way than Vargas. They can't afford to continue picking up cars that'll slow them down. 4 laps to go.
Yeah, you definitely want to be as small as group as you can, especially if you're picking up somebody that doesn't really have the speed, doesn't really know how to pick up speed either, and just simply slowing down everybody and not being able to catch the leader.
It looks like Vargas does have the speed to keep up. I would not say the same about Smith and Ortiz as they come around to lap these guys. Freeman makes a move up high. He's going to try and he's gotten around Smith, and he's going to try and get around his teammate Ortiz. But here comes Kyle Vaughters to the inside. This race is not over. Coming to 3 laps to go. They all clear the lap traffic, and now it is Freeman, McMillan, Vaughters, the top 3, heading into 3 laps to go.
This is getting very intense as the field is spread out by a good margin, especially between the first 2 guys. Definitely don't want to be too far out in front, or else your chances of winning might just be over.
Coming off a turn 2 with McMillan in hot pursuit, but don't look now. Here comes the RPM pair of Vaughters and Michaels. They're teamed up together once again, and they're making a move to the inside of McMillan for second. Will it pay off for them? It looks like they're going to get to his inside. Will they be able to work their way around Freeman? We're coming to 2 laps to go. And it looks like Vaughters is actually going to get to the inside of McMillan and Ricky Freeman Jr. as we take a look from our chopper. Coming to 2 laps to go, I'd say this RPM pair is in prime shape to take the lead back. They're going 3 wide with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, this race is not over. There is no definitive winner here as everybody is going for every single spot. There is no stopping now. Foot to the floor, pedal to the metal. Gotta take whatever you can as we see the 10 making a move on the inside.
That's Justin Hutchinson. He's making a move for 3rd on Miles Mashburn. He could try and take the lead, but he doesn't have much help. He has no help behind him. And now, the 2 RPM cars who have worked together so well all day long are now battling it out for the win side by side. We're coming to the white flag this time. Looks like Hutchinson will tuck in line behind Michaels. The question is, which of these 2 RPM cars is going to get their first career win here at Armory Digital? White flag in the air.
And it all depends on how well everybody behind them work, as they definitely don't want to let these RPM pair just take this win away easy. So that 10 has the best position as he goes for the inside.
Doesn't look like it's going to work, though. He needs more help behind him. Coming down the back straightaway for the final time. One more time around from Armory Digital. Royal Performance Motorsports has never won in its 1UP Superstar Series career. That is going to change here today. One of these 2 is going to win it. The question is, will Kyle Vaughters or will Joshua Michaels score the team's first victory and their first victory as a driver? Through 3 and 4 for the final time. It's going to be a close match between these guys. Hutchinson doesn't look like he has momentum. Coming off of 4, Michaels has the advantage coming through the tri-oval, but Vaughters has the edge coming up the outside. Coming through to the stripe. It's going to be a drag race to the line. And Vaughters holds him off. Kyle Vaughters picks up his first career win by 5/1000ths of a second. That is how you get your first career win in the 1UP Superstar Series in a very demanding race. He takes the most laps led as well by leading the final lap. Joshua Michaels will have to contend with second, his career best finish in the 1UP Superstar Series, but his first win will have to wait for another day. Justin Hutchinson comes home 3rd, a mere 9/100ths behind. Miles Mashburn 4th. Henry Thomas made a nice drive to come back to the top 5. Ricky Freeman Jr. faded all the way back to 6th for his 3rd top 10 of the season. Daniel Bouchard 7th, Jake Uhalik 8th, Jake McMillan, Stephen Gale rounding out the top 10. And this race really had everything. It had some big ones in there, had a last lap pass, and it had a first-time winner like we predicted, and it's Kyle Vaughters doing some celebrating. He's in the All-Star race in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, great race by everybody. Great job by the RPM guys. 1-2. That is definitely going to help them, especially with finances and making the playoffs. Hopefully, they can keep up the momentum next week and keep up the momentum for the rest of the season.
Next week being at Denver Motorsports Park, that 2-mile high-speed oval. We've got a lot of great stuff coming at you live from Denver next week. You got to look forward to that one as well, but you got to take a moment to look back on this race and think, if Joshua Michaels had just made that move a few feet earlier, could he have been sitting in victory lane today?
Not entirely sure, because Side Draft really played a good factor in it. The high side was able to work going through that tri-oval though, so it was all based on momentum. If he did make the move, maybe just a hair faster, he would have gotten it. But overall, you can't be mad with a 1-2 there.
By 5/1000ths of a second, it's the closest finish in 1UP Superstar Series history, and we can only expect more of the same coming up in Denver next week. So from Ben McDonald and from myself as well, we say goodbye from Armory Digital Superspeedway out in Seattle, and congratulations to Royal Performance Motorsports, their first career win in the 1UP Superstar Series, and it's a 1-2 finish courtesy of Kyle Vaughters and Joshua Michaels.